O'Reilly Factor is on tonight. The lawsuit papers have filed reparations wanted for African Americans because of slavery. But is that wrong? We'll debate it. Governor Jesse Ventura's popularity plunging in Minnesota. He'll be here to explain why. A police big shot in Los Angeles calls Congresswoman Maxine Waters a bitch. Uh-oh. And your humble correspondent makes his acting debut. Uh-oh again. Caution, you're about to enter a no-spin zone. Factor begins in 90 seconds.
Good evening. I'm Kieran Chetri. 19 people are reported dead, at least 140 wounded in a Passover suicide attack in Israel. The bomber blew himself up in a resort hotel in Netanya as hundreds of Jews were gathering for a traditional Passover meal. A faction of Hamas has claimed responsibility for that deadly attack. And the Arab summit, focusing on a Saudi peace proposal aimed at ending Palestinian-Israeli violence, got off to a very shaky start. First, the number 2 Saudi delegate in attendance had a stroke, and then Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat, who was unable to attend because Israel would not allow him or guarantee him safe return, was not allowed to speak at the conference via satellite as he had planned. That also caused the Palestinian delegation to walk out. President Bush says he thinks Mideast envoy Anthony Zinni is making progress, but the Reverend Jesse Jackson apparently thinks Zinni could use some help. Fox News has learned that he is thinking about getting involved in negotiations. Jackson has contacted both sides about possibly participating. And it was a big welcome home to the 5,500 crew members from the USS Teddy Roosevelt today. The carrier docked in Norfolk, Virginia after a 189-day mission. The sailors were greeted by a crowd of cheering people, thousands of people. Their tour of duty included months of airstrikes against al-Qaeda terrorists. And we'll have another update at the bottom of the hour.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thank you for watching us tonight. Your safety and security is being threatened by fanatics in the Middle East, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. We're not talking Osama bin Laden here. We're talking about the out-of-control Palestinian situation. On the first night of Passover, another suicide bomber has killed 15 people, injured 100 others. All of these people were civilians, and there is no other reason than terror to target civilians. The world must demand that the Palestinian Authority act aggressively against terrorist organizations such as Hamas and Islamic Jihad. No more excuses, no more rationalizations. This kind of terror is threatening the entire world. The United States cannot let Israel be engulfed by terrorists. It's as simple as that. Yes, Israel has been unfair at times in the conflict. That does not mean the Palestinians have the right to slaughter women and children. The responsible Arab states must finally rise up and condemn this kind of murder. And if they don't, the Bush administration must take note of that and reassess any and all financial aid we send to those countries. Terrorism is terrorism, whether it's in New York City or Jerusalem. No civilized society attacks civilians. If this situation continues to spiral out of control, all of us in America will be hurt. We remain far too dependent on Arab oil. We remain over that barrel. For some strange and incomprehensible reason, President Bush has not put himself firmly behind the conservation movement. The president should be on TV all the time asking people to conserve fuel. And I just can't believe Congress didn't pass legislation upping mandatory fuel standards on cars and trucks. That puts us all in harm's way. If the Arab nations decide to support the Palestinian terrorists, what happens then? Say they shut off the spigot. Do we seize the oil fields, resulting in a world war? Come on, this is crucial. America must get on the road to energy independence and stop screwing around. President Bush should help Israel find and eliminate the terrorists. Yasser Arafat is a coward and a fool. Israel offered him a tremendous deal in President Clinton's last year. He turned it down because he's gutless and seemingly enjoys seeing Jews murdered. When terrorist organizations like Hamas declare they will kill Jews no matter what kind of settlement takes place, all bets are off. Hamas has to be wiped out just like al-Qaeda. Hamas and other Palestinian fanatics are a threat to the entire world. No people on this earth should be threatened with extinction, and the Israelis are. Moral nations will respond to this threat and fight against those terrorists. Corrupt and immoral nations will not. Let's find out which is which once and for all. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight. The lawsuits have been filed. The reparations for slavery movement is finally in the judicial system. With us now is the former political director for the NAACP in New Jersey, Walter Fields. Now, I know you're on board with this reparations thing, but did you know, Mr. Fields, that 90% of white Americans oppose it and 37% of black Americans oppose any reparations for slavery?
Doesn't surprise me.
That's an overwhelming mandate.
Doesn't surprise me. It's not a mandate. It just means that there has to be serious education over what the reparations movement really means. You have to remember that even at the height of the civil rights movement, a large segment of white America was opposed to any civil rights legislation.
Never 90%.
We don't know that because you don't know what's in the hearts and minds of men. And certainly oftentimes in polls, people do not reflect their true feelings.
All right. Is there something you could tell me tonight that's different, that an argument for reparations that I haven't heard before?
I can tell you a lot of arguments
just give me
for
your
reparations.
big one.
I think if you can find and target where damage has been done and find the victims or the descendants of the victims, then I think those issues should be explored in terms of how do you repair the damage.
All right,
certainly
so
the lawsuits that were filed, they have evidence to show that certain companies were involved.
Fine. If the company started in 1795 and they took advantage of slavery, then you say they should, in the year 2002, be held accountable.
There's no clock on justice.
All right. Native Americans, are they entitled to reparations?
Without a doubt. They've already started that movement by looking at
so Native
where their land
Americans
has
should
been
get
taken.
them. Chinese Americans, because the railroads exploited them?
Once again, if you can find areas where there's been
all
damage
the railroads
done,
exploited them.
If you can find areas where damage has been done.
So Chinese Americans
but
should get reparations
I think
too?
if they can find areas where damage has been done.
All right. Well, there's no question that the Chinese Americans were exploited to put the railroads together. Okay, so we got African Americans, Native Americans, Chinese Americans. Union soldiers, descendants of the Union soldiers killed in the Civil War, should they get reparations?
My great-great-grandfather was a Union soldier. He was a slave. He fought for the Union Army. I definitely think I have a right to put a claim in. Yes, I do.
Okay, so all descendants of Union soldiers who were killed in the Civil War, they should get reparations?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And I think you're mixing apples and oranges.
Why? I mean, if somebody were killed trying to free the slaves...
Because when you look at African Americans, let's stick to African Americans since that's what we're talking about.
No, but I can't. But it's not fair.
It is fair.
Well,
it is fair.
Look, you conceded... Wait.
No, African Americans were the only group in this country that suffered under legal slavery.
Well, I'd say Native Americans suffered.
No, it was a different situation.
Well, it was different, but it was institutionalized, and that's what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. African American slavery was codified.
Yeah.
There's a difference than what happened to Native Americans who were virtually just slaughtered.
All right, but you just conceded to me that Native Americans and Chinese Americans should get reparations as well as Africa. But you wouldn't give reparations to the families of Union soldiers who were killed trying to free the slaves. No.
I would give reparations to a group, particularly a racial group like African Americans, who can pinpoint where damages have been done.
Okay.
By mixing apples and oranges, what you are simply doing is simplifying the claim. The claim is not that simple.
I'm not mixing apples and oranges.
Oh, yes, you are.
The
claim is based upon African Americans who can demonstrate that they have been harmed through the years, whether through slavery or through segregation.
Every human being on this earth can demonstrate that they've been harmed by injustices in the past.
Every human being can demonstrate that they were part of a group that was subject to slavery. And part of a group, your group was subject in the United States.
No. My group was subject to slavery.
I'm talking about the United States.
Okay, but look, you can talk about whatever you want, but I'm saying to you this. My people lost all their land because the British took it away from them, starved them, and they had to come over here. So should I file a lawsuit?
Your people should file a lawsuit against the British government.
But this is insane.
No,
Mr. Fields, listen to yourself.
No, it's not.
Everybody on this earth can trace back injustice.
Justice is justice.
No.
And you cannot dismiss claims simply because of the length of calendar or clock.
Yes, you can. There's a statute of limitations built into the law to prevent chaos and anarchy.
No one has put a statute of limitations on these type of claims.
They will.
Because
this is going to get thrown out. You're never going to win this. If you win this, I'll buy you as my reparation to you.
First of all, it's not me.
All right.
It's not me.
The lawsuits are not going to win.
And second of all, even if the lawsuits don't win, don't you think that a corporation like Aetna would respond, given the fact that blacks are now a $500 billion consumer market? Wouldn't it make sense for them to simply look at that? Well, Aetna issued a statement and said we give millions of dollars every year to minority concerns. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a trauma victim. Look, if you want Aetna to give more money, then you go get him. Send Jesse Jackson. He's good to shake down. We don't have to send Jesse Jackson. We've got the lawsuits. But I'm telling you this. You're creating three things. Bitterness. Once again, you're personalizing it. I'm not creating it. I'm using you're in the general term, not you, Mr. Fields. I mean, we like you. You come in here and you answer the questions. We love you.
This reparations movement is creating three things. Backlash against African Americans.
That's already there.
All right, but this is huge, 90% plurality.
It's huge there. It's already there.
You're creating chaos and anarchy. Now, in theory, everybody should be treated in this world fairly. Everybody should be compensated for things that happen that shouldn't have happened, in theory. But in practice, this country has given every American now a chance to make
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not true.
Yes,
Hundreds of thousands of black businesses can't get access to capital. Why?
I can't answer that question generally, but I'll tell you this.
But we're having a very general conversation.
If you work hard in this country and you're honest, you can succeed.
That's not true.
Yes,
there are many examples of African Americans who are in business, who work hard, who can't access capital
And there are plenty of white companies who can't either for whatever reason.
But we know the reason
work
for
hard,
African
Mr.
Americans.
Fields. You're a successful person. I have on my staff a number of African Americans who are
You can
successful.
point out one or two.
No,
but when you look at the conditions in this country, when you look at the history of this country.
Listen to me. We got 30 seconds. Last stat. Black married couples make 80% of what white married couples make in this country. That's parity because most of them live in the South where salaries are lower. That's the stat. Last word. Go ahead.
That's not parity. That simply means improvements have been made.
That's parity.
Real parity is when African Americans have equal access to the market, which they don't.
Thank you, Mr. Fields. Always a pleasure. Next up, a big brawl in L.A. A police big shot calls Congresswoman Maxine Waters a bitch. Right back with that story.
Amazing Siding, the #1 siding company in America, is having a gigantic spring sale on siding and windows. Call today for your no-obligation free estimate, 1-800-956-5432.
Call Amazing Siding and you'll never paint again.
May your travels bring you tranquility, harmony. The harmony of the CD you get free from Days Inns. Rock, country, just for going to bed. Free CDs for staying at Days Inns when you have the inspiration to book now.
Gateway's got an amazing business deal for you on the Gateway 910C server. It's powered by an Intel Celeron processor and it's just $4.99. Plus, when you buy this or any select Gateway server, you'll get an on-site security check. It's everything you need to see how secure your business network is, and it's free. So just call 1-800-GATEWAY today and see what we can do for your business. That's 1-800-GATEWAY.
It used to be that treating a genital herpes outbreak took almost a week out of my life. It meant 5 whole days on Zovirax. But now my doctor told me about a way to treat it for just 3 days. Valtrex.
Just another day.
Valtrex for genital herpes, the only medicine FDA approved to treat an outbreak when taken twice a day for just 3 days.
Nothing in my way.
Valtrex is made by the same company as Zovirax, and it's the same kind of medicine. But each dose of Valtrex puts more medicine into your bloodstream, so it lasts longer, and you don't have to take it as often. Common side effects are headache and nausea.
3 days is so much easier than 5 days.
Remember, there is no cure for herpes, and even with treatment, it may be possible to spread herpes to others. To avoid a potentially serious complication, tell your doctor if your immune system is not normal because of advanced HIV disease, bone marrow, or kidney transplant. Call your doctor today and ask about switching to 3-day treatment with Valtrex.
Valtrex, just 3 days.
Nothing in my way.
The personal story segment tonight has become very personal between L.A. Police Commission President Rick Caruso and Congresswoman Maxine Waters. The Los Angeles Times is reporting that in a private police meeting. Mr. Caruso called Ms. Waters a bitch. Of course, the congressman is running with that, demanding Caruso resign. Mr. Caruso is hiding out, won't come on The Factor. Ms. Waters will not appear on any news program that challenges her. But joining us now from L.A. is a guy closely following the controversy, KFI radio talk show host Bill Handel. So, Bill, what is the genesis of all of this?
Well, it actually started because there's a feud going on between the mayor of Los Angeles and the police chief. I don't want to go into that, but Maxine Waters has been backing up the chief of police very, very vigorously, primarily because it's a black chief. The attack on him is by white politicians. Caruso happens to be a white developer. He's going to decide whether or not the police commission is going to recommend that the chief be replaced. And in a private meeting with a couple of cops, he called her a bitch. He hasn't denied it. He hasn't so far admitted it. But I think it's safe to say he did. Maxine Waters instantly and immediately said, well, because if he's he's willing to call me a bitch. Therefore, he's a racist, and he must resign from the police commission, and he has absolutely no say.
Has she used the R word? As she said, I read the old dispatch. I didn't see her saying he's a racist.
You know what, that word, whether she used it or not.
No, she said it was a slur. She didn't say it was a racial slur. She said it was a slur.
I'll tell you, Bill, the black community here in Los Angeles, it has become a black-white issue of extraordinary proportions. It has broken right down racial lines.
All right, but the police department, the rank-and-file cops themselves tell me, and I don't speak to all of them, but enough of them, they don't like Parks.
No, Parks is hated by the rank-and-file.
Right. And it looks like Hahn, the mayor, is trying to get him out of there, and Caruso will probably make the decision to boot him, right?
That's correct.
All right, so Waters is setting Caruso up now, and Caruso gave her the ammo. He gave her the ammo.
You know what? I don't know. It's a private meeting. You tell me.
Look, there are no private meetings, Bill. You know that. Everything leaks. What about your callers? Whose side are they taking out there?
It depends on what part of the community they're from. My black callers all defend the police chief and defend Maxine Waters. The white callers are defending Caruso and the mayor. I will tell you that the mayor's dispute with the police chief goes back years. It's a legitimate dispute between Kenneth Hahn and Bernie Parks, going back to when Kenny Hahn was the city attorney and those guys were fighting head-to-head.
I don't think anybody cares about what happens in L.A. politics, but they do care if Maxine Waters is trying to hurt the police out there. Now, she is notorious anti-cop, right?
Yeah, she is anti-cop, but she's pro-black police chief, where this police chief has very closely tied into the black community. Tremendous support going to him. The rank and file totally against this chief. They can't stand this guy.
Why don't they like him?
He's a very strict disciplinarian. He will not give the cops the benefit of the doubt. If a cop is accused of wrongdoing, the premise now is guilty until proven innocent. So the attrition rate in the police department is astronomical. Police are leaving like crazy. The morale has absolutely been decimated in the police department. And I talked to a lot of cops.
Right.
They do not like this guy. And that's one of the reasons, by the way.
Yeah, but you got to look. I mean, to be fair, you had the huge scandal with the Ramparts out there, and you need a tough police chief out there. You need a guy to say, hey.
No, I don't think anybody's arguing that. But I think this is a police chief who is viewed by the rank and file, Bill, as one who doesn't appreciate them. Right or wrong, it's hard to lead a police force of 8,000 cops when they all think the chief hates their guts.
Right, and I mean, coming from Maxine Waters, who accused the DEA of actually springing crack into Los Angeles.
How about 1992? Maxine Waters, as L.A. is burning, is screaming, "No justice, no peace."
Yeah.
What astounds me, she wasn't arrested for incitement to riot at that time.
Well, it looks like you have racial problems out in Los Angeles, the nation's second largest city. Bill, thanks very much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Bill.
Directly ahead, the Mexican government will not help stop illegal border traffic. What should America do about that? And later on, Jesse Ventura's popularity falling drastically. He'll address the issue. Right back.
This program is brought to you by Pennzoil. We're driving protection.
So, what kind of dog are you interested in?
Whatever.
So, what kind of motor oil do you want?
Pennzoil.
What you choose matters. So next time, ask for Pennzoil.
Say goodbye to machines taking up valuable office space and tap into the Kinko's network.
Honey, how much money did the contractor say he needed?
$7,500.
What if getting money from your home equity was this painless? Well, thanks to Ditech.com, it may be. Just log on or call 1-800-71-FIXED now. Apply to refinance and get cash out for home improvements or anything else. We'll arrange an appraiser, notary, and even deliver to your door. Ditech.com, your mortgage solution delivered.
What am I to your small business? I'm a Dell Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor for just $699. A serious upgrade in power without the annoying upgrade in price. But look closer. What I really am is a better way for your business to do business. customized to fit your needs, and backed by award-winning service and support on the phone or online 24/7. Allow me to grow your business. I'm a Dell Dimension desktop, powered by the Intel Pentium 4 processor for only $699. I'm much, much more than business as usual.
Get great deals on Dell Business desktops, notebooks, and servers. Right now, double your memory on select Dell Business systems and save up to $300 on select systems.
Small business technology. Easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell. In each of us, there's a dancer. A poet. A photographer. A singer. For the music in you, King FM 102.
Mitsubishi says, what are you going to do with the money you save when you have zero down, zero interest, zero payments till 2003 on all Mitsubishis? 2002 Eclipse, Montero, Montero Sport, Lancer, all models. Quality and value is what it's all about. And you know what? Mitsubishi's thrown in another zero. Get 0% interest for 60 months on all new 2001 Mitsubishis. There's no better way to get a new automobile and save. That's 000. Come down to any of the Portland Metro Mitsubishi dealers and see for yourself. Mitsubishi, wake up and drive.
The Unresolved Problem segment tonight, the continuing problem of the Mexican border. A new study by the Mexican government says migration flows are inevitable and predicts by the year 2030 the Mexican population in the USA will double to 18 million. Now, my analysis of the study is that the Mexican government is saying we can't stop the problem, so don't blame us. Joining us now from Louisville, Kentucky, is David Simcox, chairman of the board for the Center for Immigration Studies. What about your analysis? Do you concur with me that the Mexican government sent us a signal saying, hey, don't blame us, this is inevitable, we can't stop it?
I believe that's really the kernel of the study. The study admits, or some might even say boasts, that immigration to the United States is going to be a lot higher than they projected just a few years back.
And it's illegal immigration, not legal immigration, because we still don't have...
If the present pattern continues, it'd be about 60% illegal, 75% illegal.
Because they still don't have a cohesive program, guest worker program set up, which is insane. Now, my solution is twofold. I know what yours is because, of course, I've read your notes. But I'll give you mine, then you can give me yours. First, you have to deploy U.S. military to the border to help the Border Patrol, back them up to use the technology to make it very, very difficult for people to physically come across that border. That can be done. In fact, it is being done, not to the extent I would like to see it, but the Bush administration has moved troops to both the Canadian and Mexican border. The second thing is that you must prosecute businesses who hire illegal immigrants and make it attractive for them to come across. Even though it helps the businesses, they're still skirting taxes. They're doing things they shouldn't do. What's your solution to the border problem?
I'm pretty much in line with you. I think using the military at this point is probably premature, that we really haven't exhausted the possibilities of a good border patrol. I'm certainly all for internal enforcement. I would really stress that, what you call using employer sanctions, making the employers realize that we're really serious, that this is an offense against American law, and that they're in effect shuffling cost of their labor to the body politic as a whole.
You could fine them and then use that money to beef up the Border Patrol. But I don't know what your reluctance is to use the military. I hear this from politicians. I hear this from theoreticians and academics. There's no reason on this earth, with all the narcotics, with all of the disease, people coming into the United States with disease, Mr. Simcox, from Mexico, causing enormous problems for the border counties down there and the border states. Yet we will not take the action that we can take. We have the military. They know how to do this. They're guarding Korea, Bosnia, Kosovo. We won't do it for political correctness, I think. Where am I going wrong?
Well, I've always felt that the ability of the Border Patrol, now that it's been beefed up, if it were given the proper permission, proper lead, it could do the job.
Come on, there's really millions of people coming across. How could it do the job?
Closing down that border is not impossible, as you often hear argued. you know, the areas of the border that are most penetrated really are less than 10% of the total length of the border. It would involve a concentration of our forces at those points, not along the entire 2,000
Why not use the
miles.
military that's just already there? It's already being paid for. Why jack up the taxpayers' rate when you already are paying for military? Look, the mandate of the military in the Constitution is to protect the borders of the United States. This is insane. There's no reason not to help the Border Patrol, and I agree with you. Beef the Border Patrol up by fining the companies, using those fines, putting them into the INS, and help protect Americans. But back them up with the military. Come on, let's use our heads here.
Well, certainly that's an option, but I think it's a little early in the game to exercise that option because we haven't really given the Border Patrol a chance to do the job.
But why not use all the power that we have when we have a security problem? You know that illegal aliens are coming in here. Some of them are causing problems, all right? You know narcotics are coming in here. Why wait? What reason is there to wait?
Well, as I say, it's certainly an option to consider down the road.
But why wait? Why wait, Mr. Simcox? I mean, why wait?
Because every time this comes up, we get the Department of Defense saying, you know, they can't spare the people or they're not properly trained. I believe you have an instrument in being that just needs some proper leadership and it could do the job.
No, man, I mean, the DOD is just giving you that because they don't want to be held accountable for the chaos down there. If they get an assignment and they don't work or some Marine kills somebody like happened 5 or 6 years ago, I don't know. Mexico's not going to help, right? Bottom line on this, Mexico saying, hey, it's your problem, even though our people are breaking the law coming in. It's your problem, Uncle Sam. That's what they're saying, right?
Well, in the current negotiations with George Bush, they've dropped some hints that they might help. But when it comes to pinning them down as to what they would do to keep their own people at home, they're always very vague because they say their Constitution doesn't allow any sort of coercion of people desiring to leave the country.
Right.
So that's very difficult for them to do anything that would really actually help us control the border.
It's not difficult. They just don't want to because U.S. dollars flow back to Mexico and it helps their economy. Mr. Simcox, thanks very much. We appreciate it. Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along this evening. Poll numbers for Governor Jesse Ventura are bleak. He'll explain why. And your humble correspondent makes his acting debut on CBS. Right back.
A Beautiful Mind is the winner of 4 Academy Awards. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Screenplay.
Something extraordinary is possible.
A Beautiful Mind, rated PG-13.
It was not my dream to realize this day. The day a father watched his daughter start at Juilliard. But I embraced that dream with unwavering attention and made it my own. Because that was the dream of my client. And that's what I do at Morgan Stanley. One client at a time.
It's easy to notice things like worn wiper blades or a burned out headlight, but there are some other things you should check routinely to help keep your car safe, like your tires. 1 out of every 4 cars on the road has at least one underinflated tire, and underinflated tires are a leading cause of catastrophic blowouts. Learn more about what you can do to keep your vehicle safe and on the road with this booklet. It's free from Shell. Count on Shell.
This is Bob. Bob is doing well. Very well indeed. That's because not long ago, Bob realized that he needed something better in his life. And what did he get? Why, a big boost of confidence. A little more self-esteem. And a very happy missus at home. If you're interested in learning more about Enzyte, call for more information at 1-877-4-ENZYTE or visit us online.
Hello, I'm Robert Wagner for Fox Movie Channel's Hour of Stars. Movies for the small screen with big talent, big scripts, and big ideas.
Call your cable or satellite provider to get this new network.
Friday, the explosive interview that has everybody talking.
When people like you speak out, it makes headlines.
Compelling.
I will be the role model for the good gay family.
Controversial.
Why put any child into a home that's sinful?
Confrontational.
Listen, I'm a gay person. You think you have an image that they're bad? It's me. It's me.
See it again Friday on The O'Reilly Factor.
The Factor follow-up segment tonight. I've been telling you for years that the government on all levels wastes an enormous amount of tax money because the supply of tax money is unending. They waste it, so what? That's the attitude among some bureaucrats. Get set for another jolt. In an audit of the Department of Defense, Dick Cheney's department, in 1999 and 2000, $2.3 trillion cannot be accounted for. Let that sink in for a moment. Joining us now from Cleveland is Jim Minery, a CPA at the Cleveland Defense Finance and Accounting Service, who actually went to the FBI about the financial chaos in the DOD. You know, these figures are unrealistic, but all of us work very hard, not all of us, but many of us, most of us work very hard. We pay an enormous amount of tax, and to hear the $2.3 trillion, I can't even calculate that much, is unaccounted for, is staggering. Why isn't this a page one story, and what happened?
I guess we're just used to it. We hear these numbers over and over again. You know, 2.3, the taxpayer really can't fathom that much money. So and there's nothing we can do about it, it appears, so we just let it go by.
All right, there was a $7 trillion defense budget in 1999. 2.3 of that can't be accounted for. How does that happen?
A lot of journal entries were made, adjustments. People are trying to come up with audited financial statements, and what they're doing is they're making adjustments here and there. And what's behind all of this is the systems. The systems are incompatible. The Army has a system, the Navy has a system, the Air Force has a system. They're not compatible. They don't talk with each other. When you put all this stuff together, you've got to make all these crazy adjustments here, and that's where you come up with $2.3 trillion of difference between the services.
Now, do you believe that money is being stolen? Is it being wasted? Where's the money going?
There's a possibility it's being wasted. I don't know if it's being stolen, but usually it's going somewhere for the Department of Defense.
Would it be accurate to say that there's just nobody in the DOD really watching the money? Would that be accurate? There's not a little group that says, all right, we're giving you this money and you got to send us paper on where it goes. Like I have to fill out an expense report, okay? Every month I have to tell them where all the money goes that I get from News Corp. Don't they do that at the DOD?
Well, I work at a Defense Finance and Accounting Service, and we do the accounting for the Department of Defense. We have several different centers, and each center more or less takes care of each branch of the service. And we're supposed to be watching this stuff. We prepare the financial reports monthly and then annually, and that's how we're supposed to be watching the finances of the Department of Defense.
Okay, but you're telling me that $2.3 trillion, you don't know where that money is.
That's right.
So they didn't send you the forms, or they didn't tell you where it went?
People attempted to, but when we try to input these systems into audited financial statements, there's adjustments that we have to make that there's no explanation for.
All right, I can't understand. I'm not an accountant. You took this to the FBI. What was the FBI's reaction?
Well, the problem was I tried to resolve an entity that I did the accounting for, and what I got out of it was some resistance. People told me not to talk to the auditors and so forth, and they didn't want me to resolve the problem. So what I did is I went to the FBI and told them about it.
Who didn't want you to resolve the problem?
The activity that I was doing the accounting for.
All right, so some people in the Department of Defense didn't want you to resolve the problem?
That's right.
Okay, so your superiors in the DOD said, hey, don't cause any trouble.
In fact, there was a possibility they spent $300 million more than they actually said they spent.
Ah, well, that's nice. $300 million more than was budgeted for. So the money just keeps pouring into the DOD. It just keeps pouring in, right?
Well, there's an unlimited source, people's taxes.
Right. So as much as they want, here it comes. But, you know, in the budget, the national budget, they're supposed to stay within the $7 trillion a year framework. You're saying they don't?
Well, the budget is actually lower than that. When you're talking about $7 trillion, you're talking about all the adjustments that were made on the financial statements.
All right. So, but the bottom line is, Mr. Minery, they get as much money as they want to get.
No, not necessarily. There is a budget, and they have to stick to that. It's where the money goes within that budget that we don't know exactly where it's going.
Unbelievable. Thanks, Mr. Minery. We appreciate your point of view.
You're very welcome.
When we come back, why is Governor Jesse Ventura losing popularity? We'll put that question to him, and it has to do with money, as the Factor continues for you.
Good evening. I'm Kieran Chetri. It's being called the Passover Massacre. Today's blast in Israel not only took lives, it may have also derailed the fragile Middle East peace process. Fox News correspondent Todd Connor is in Jerusalem and has the latest for us.
The Passover Massacre. It's one of the deadliest suicide bomb attacks in Israel in the past 18 months. The Palestinian suicide bomber, carrying a bag filled with explosives, walked into the restaurant of the Park Hotel in the coastal resort town of Netanya, just as dozens of Israeli Jews prepared to sit down to the traditional Seder dinner. In an instant, chaos. Bodies and debris littered the restaurant and lobby. 19 people are dead and as many as 100 were wounded. Palestinian Authority officials condemned the attack, and Chairman Arafat ordered the arrest of 4 key people with ties to 3 militant groups. Israel has seen this scenario before, though, with militants arrested only to be let go a few days later. It's laying the blame squarely on the shoulders of Chairman Arafat. The Islamic militant group Hamas claiming responsibility for the explosion, the second Palestinian attack on this town in the last couple of weeks. In Jerusalem, Todd Connor, Fox News.
And we'll have another update coming up at the top of the hour. I'm Kieran Chetri. The O'Reilly Factor continues after the break. Coming up, Jesse Ventura.
Where are the cars we were promised? The land-based rocket ships with cockpits full of computers and video screens. The cars with shapes we had seen only in our dreams. Where are the cars we were promised? They're closer than you think. Introducing the new Infiniti G35.
Philosophy 101? Not today. Grad school? Later. Taking the bar? Maybe someday. The AIM College Savings Plan lets you invest up to $250,000 and your earnings grow tax-free. So when they're ready for college, you will be too. See your financial advisor. Your goals, our discipline. AIM.
I got one.
I got 2. I got my own website, and I love it.
VeriSign made it so easy. It took less than an hour to set up my new website.
It's as simple as point, click, and type.
I can't believe how affordable it is. My website costs less than 20 cents a day.
I didn't want to pay a lot for a website. With VeriSign, I didn't have to.
They give you so many great designs to choose from. I found one that's perfect for me. Now I have my own address on the web, plus a matching email address.
My customers love it, and my sales have really taken off.
It's so easy. I set up a second website for my son's baseball team.
Get started now. VeriSign gives you everything you need. Your website, web address, even matching email. All for as little as $65 a year. There's even a 30-day money-back guarantee. So start your new website today. Call now or visit us online at yourbizsite.tv.
Thanks for staying with us. And Bill O'Reilly in the Impact segment tonight, Governor Jesse Ventura of Minnesota. In February of 2001, just 13 months ago, his approval rating stood at 70%. Today, according to a poll by the Star Tribune, the governor's approval rating among Minnesotans is 43%. Joining us now from St. Paul is Jesse Ventura. Hey, Governor, I bet you thought politics would never be this much fun, huh?
Well, you know, Bill, you look at those ratings, you're going to have high ones, you're going to have low ones. As you make decisions, people get angry at you. And, you know, the thing that doesn't trouble me about those ratings is the fact that in a three-way race, if you put me up against any Democrat or any Republican, I'm still beating them by better than 2-1, and that's what it's all about in the end, really. Not the, you know, if I went by those ratings, there wasn't one rating or poll that had me winning the governorship back in '98, so you take it with a grain of salt.
All right, but does it hurt your feelings that some Minnesotans anyway think that you aren't doing a good job, primarily because you're going to raise taxes, $400 million worth of taxes, and that, you know, spending went up 30% during your administration. And some people say, hey, look, you know, we're having trouble making a living, and the governor who we thought was going to be on the side of the working class guy is coming down on us.
First of all, Bill, spending hasn't gone up 30% during my administration. It's well below that. It's well below 20%. I made sure, in fact, I think it's at 18% in my 4 years.
All right, well,
as
I'm
governor.
taking the Star Tribune's stats here.
Well,
are they lying?
If you believe the daily newspapers today, then you also probably believe the National Enquirer.
All right, so spending is up 20% or 18% in your administration?
In 4 years.
Why do you have to raise taxes $400 million?
Well, I don't have to, but the problem is we're faced with the deficit that we had to deal with. We're also faced with 9/11, which had a ripple effect to all the states hitting our economy. And I don't have to raise taxes. I just gave them a balanced budget that would include both. I cut twice the amount the Republicans wanted to cut. The only thing that I'm having difficulty with, they only want to face and fix the problem through the November election. They don't want to structurally fix it out, and they're putting our bonding, our AAA bond rating in jeopardy. But you know what I've done, though, Bill? I've done something in this country that I'm probably one of only a handful, you could count them on one hand, is able to do. And you know what that is?
What?
I've brought the Democrats and the Republicans, the liberals and the conservatives together in Minnesota.
What, they all dislike you?
Yeah, they're in bed. They're in bed together right now.
Right, they all dislike you. Did you brought them together? They all hate you.
Yeah, they're all together, but I can still beat anybody they got to put out there.
But look, are you caught up in
Bill, the thing that happens is this. You got to remember, in an election year, these two parties are going to band together to try to destroy any third-party person.
Look, this,
they do that without fail.
This compared to your wrestling career was a cupcake factory compared to what you're in now. Sure, everybody knows that the incumbent is going to get attacked, but it looks like they have some ammo against you because you have proposed to raise taxes. You said you wouldn't. Are you in the President Bush, not George W., but his father, no new taxes, read my lips, are you going to be accused of not living up to your word?
No, not at all, because, Bill, it comes down, I can't raise a tax. You know, they disregarded my budget. They passed their own budget. I vetoed it. They overrode my veto. So now they accept full responsibility for the consequences of their budget. The worm will turn, rest assured.
All right.
These guys haven't made hard decisions. They've said you can't cut K through 12 spending. You can't cut nursing homes. You can't cut higher ed. By the time they're through with everything you can't cut, we're down to 20% of our budget to absorb all of these cuts, and it can't be done, and they're facing it right now. They've only fixed the budget in one phase. They have 2 more phases to go. I'm not a bit worried.
All right. Now, you said you had a bombshell for us? What's that?
That was the bombshell.
That was the bombshell that you brought Republicans and Democrats together?
That they're bed partners now, these conservatives and liberals, but on the horizon, I see a separation coming, possibly even a divorce.
All right. Now, so you're going to run again then in November. You sound like a guy who's going to run again anyway.
I haven't made that decision.
No, you're going to run again. You're going to run.
Well, don't say that. You know, I don't have to decide till July, and I spend the least amount of money in America to get elected. I don't have to worry about campaign finance reform because I don't take special interest money or spend a lot anyway, so I'm clean.
Now, you still have a national profile, although if you did run again and you lost, that profile would go away. So if you do have higher office ambitions, it might be the time now to not run and then put together your third-party run. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't want to go to a higher office.
No?
I don't particularly. No, I don't. There's enough troubles, you know, dealing with the state of Minnesota. This is challenging enough. And besides, you've got to pick your time as a third-party candidate, and it's very difficult to run against an incumbent.
That's for sure.
One of the reasons I was successful in Minnesota was former Governor Arnie Carlson was not seeking a third term.
And you had 2 boring guys against you. Yeah, I mean, that's why you were much more larger than life. And if people wanted it, they wanted a new perspective. I want to move along now to the war because people
Wait, though. Bill, that would happen right now on the national level. Tell me who's exciting.
Okay. Now,
it wouldn't matter.
Would you conduct the war the same way George W. Bush is conducting it with your military background?
I think I would. Again, I'm not privy to George W.'s intelligence reports. I'm not privy to the knowledge that he has. So it's really kind of unfair to say, would I run it identical to him? But with the knowledge that I do have as a governor, yes, I think that the president's doing a good job. I think he needs to be aggressive. These people are murderers, and they attack the public, and it's our job to put them in their place.
Any clue on how to solve the Israeli-Palestinian chaos?
I don't think you can ever solve it because it's a religious thing. It's over a mound of dirt, if you want to call it that, an area of dirt that both sides have to control, their religions say they have to control it, and neither side will trust the other to control it.
All right.
So it's something that's going to go on forever, I think.
Last question, getting back to you. In this poll at the Star Tribune, and you know, you've had a pretty contentious, contentious relations with the press there in Minnesota. It says 67% of the Minnesotans don't want to vote for you next time. I mean, that could change, as you said, the worm can turn. But that doesn't hurt your feelings at all?
No, it doesn't, because you come in, you do the job, you do it to the best of your ability, you make decisions on policy that you feel are right. And if you know what, Bill, if the people determine that they don't want me as their governor, that's how the system works. I happily go back to the private sector then. You know, I'm not one of these people that's going to live or die over an election. Life moves on.
So we'll see the Ventura factor? Is that what we're going to see?
I don't know if, I could never take you out, Bill. Although I will tell you this, and I want to finish with this with you. I can't believe you take the position you take on drug testing these young teenagers, because our country is formed upon a premise in law that you're innocent until proven guilty. Drug testing, you're guilty until you prove you're innocent.
Well, maybe so, but public safety always overrides, as you know, individual rights. And public safety is very, very important here.
What, to play in the band?
No, I'm saying
I'm trying to figure out how I'm in danger playing in the band.
If there's probable cause. Only if there's probable cause. That's my position.
And you know what else, Bill, too, you got to remember, in the Constitution of the United States of America, it doesn't say a word about that you can't be stupid.
All right, Governor.
You have the right to be stupid.
All right. In a moment, your humble correspondent, me, makes his acting debut on CBS. One of the best actors around, Joe Mantegna, will analyze it for us right after these messages.
All around the world, Siemens is energizing the cities and towns we live in. We engineer new ways to efficiently generate, distribute, and use power. And by providing energy to people everywhere, we're giving them the power to live better.
Spin, spin, spin the globe. It's your turn to spin the globe.
They have more filling. Kellogg's Pastry Swirls. They're that good. Pent liquor.
AT&T Broadband.
Documentaries. Sundance Channel takes you on the emotional ride of the technology revolution.
I'm ready to conquer the world.
Today we announced that I'm stepping down.
High-tech triple feature. 3 documentaries that explore the rise and fall.
Tom is no longer with the company.
Of the .com industry. High-tech triple feature.
This isn't Hollywood. It's the Sundance Channel. Want it? Call AT&T Broadband now to order.
Santo, a name synonymous with commercial directing genius. In the 80s, he brought America the lovable Mr. Whiskers, and in the 90s, the innovative yellow dye in the 5,000 Flushes campaign.
Yellow means clean! The romance of the bowl and everything he did, the motion that he created out of nothing, out of water and a flush, it was just pure magic.
But in 2000, the bottom dropped down. While on set, Santo suffered a career-altering nervous breakdown and walked away from the spotlight to try to find himself. Which he did in the annual Running with the Giraffes. Not quite as popular as Running with the Bulls, but for Santo, every bit as cathartic. Now, reinvigorated with a new outlook on life, the stage has been set for Santo to dazzle America once again as he tries to create for the Thomason Auto Group the greatest auto dealer commercial of all time. Will he succeed? Only time will tell.
In March, AT&T Broadband delivers the hits you want on in-demand pay-per-view. The whole comedy crew is back for American Pie 2. Look out, it's the hilarious Rat Race. Jet Li fights back in Kiss of the Dragon. And Julie Andrews stars in The Princess Diaries. Call AT&T Broadband now and order in a great movie tonight on in-demand pay-per-view.
In the back of the book segment tonight, the new CBS series First Monday about the Supreme Court stars Joe Mantegna and James Gardner. And on the series, they've incorporated a fictional news program called Curveball. How they came up with that name, I can't quite understand. Anyway, the producers asked me to act in the series. Here's a look.
To have, in this case, children being put in pornographic positions on the internet by some other kid, 17-year-old, whatever, that's a criminal act. That's pornographic terrorism. It's not protected speech by any measure. If you put a minor in a pornographic situation, whether it's real or virtual, you should go to jail.
Sorry? I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying that the crime is violating the rights of that child. It's not a question of what photographs might exist as a result of it.
All right, joining us now to mock me is one of the best actors around, Joe Mantegna. He plays the Supreme Court Justice on First Monday. You just saw him watching. So basically, you guys are watching the curveball deal,
right,
but you're deliberating on, and this is a real case.
Exactly so.
This case of the kid who put pornographic students, on the internet and put their heads on pornographic activity. Right. So I'm going to embarrass the whole program, I guess, right?
Okay. No, we're talking Emmy here, Bill.
Yeah, we're talking Emmy. For best daytime person.
Yeah.
Do you follow the Supreme Court now? I mean, now that you're in this series?
I certainly have a more heightened interest in kind of what goes on there, absolutely.
Do you guys debate it among yourselves on, like you and Gardner?
Yeah, things will come up. I mean, Garner, politically, he's a pretty. What's kind of funny, he's very liberal in his own personal beliefs, and yet his character is somewhat more on a conservative side. So I think sometimes he finds himself.
He's liberal in person, but he's a conservative on a program.
Exactly.
And what about you?
I'm pretty much the way I am on the show. I've been an independent for many years. I pretty much try to look at both sides of an issue, and I very often my leanings will go, and sometimes.
Yeah, that's what they play you on the show, is you never know how you're going to vote.
Yeah,
so they know how Gardner's going to go, just like Scalia. And you're not Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Things do get revealed, and in the course of the show, I think you find out that all of a sudden you see, oh well, his feelings in that area, let's say on that amendment or that particular field of whatever is that way, and the other might be the other.
Now, this week, the Supreme Court issued a big ruling that said you can kick poor people out of public housing if there's drug use in their apartment, even if they don't know about it, and even if they can't control it. Would that be a discussion among you? Would you guys say, oh, boy, look at this?
Well, it could very well be, but I think I always get nervous when they start putting adjectives on things, when they start saying poor people or this.
Well, public housing, though, by its own definition.
I know it is, but you know what I'm saying? I think what perhaps in doing the show I'm learning too is, when you talk about it in a bigger framework in terms of a constitutional rights, and you're talking about, the people, whether they're poor, rich, whatever, I think you have to be a little bit more objective, just based on what is the law for everyone, and not necessarily start to add little caveats of, well, should there be exceptions because of this or because of that?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But when a ruling like that comes down, your writers must jump. Because this is what they do in Law and Order too. See, this is you're basically doing fiction drama, but it's based on reality.
Oh, absolutely.
This case that I was on with you, it's a real case.
That's right. Constantly. In fact, we'll be in the middle of shooting an episode, and all of a sudden somebody will say, "Hey, did you see today's paper?" And all of a sudden we'll see that there's an actual thing happening in the Supreme Court that is dealing with the actual case that we're talking about. We thought it was something that was perhaps being pushed off till a later date or something that got moved up, and so now we sometimes even have to scramble a little to kind of adjust accordingly if they come up.
Now, you know what is going to happen, Mr. Mantegna, when this is a hit, if it gets picked up, they're going to start thinking you're going to be the real Supreme Court judge. I mean, they're going to, the folks are going to see you with the beard and then.
I'm qualified. I'm old enough. I'm an American citizen. That's all you need to be.
That's right. People are going to come up to me. Oh, Judge, would you please make a ruling on this? I mean, you're going to have a tremendous amount of power. Well, we wish you the best. That episode with me in it, embarrassing myself, will be shown April 19th, and it was very nice. It was a lot of fun.
It was a pleasure having you as a colleague.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mantegna. Good.
Thank you.
And next, we'll wrap things up. The most ridiculous item of the day and some of your mail.
Looks like you're going out of town for a while.
Yeah, 2-week training seminar in Arizona.
Training camp. A chance to bond with your teammates. To learn the newest tricks of the trade. Get ready for another winning year. Geez, I really miss it.
Going away for a while, Residence Inn has everything you need to make life on the road feel more like home.
Here, this always works for me.
Now make 3 stays and earn 2 free nights. Call 1-888-MARRIOTT today. Residence Inn. Your Marriott awaits.
In a valley, near a river, there's a place called Perfect. In Perfect, parents are informed of school projects 2 weeks ahead of time. There's always milk in the fridge, and the grass is green on both sides of the fence. Of course, we don't live anywhere near perfect, so we have Walgreens, open every day, many 24 hours, where we can get what's needed for the real world. That's life. This is Walgreens.
What am I to your small business? I'm a Dell Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor for just $699. A serious upgrade in power without the annoying upgrade in price. But look closer. What I really am is a better way for your business to do business. Customized to fit your needs and backed by award-winning service and support on the phone or online 24/7. Allow me to grow your business. I'm a Dell Dimension desktop powered by the Intel Pentium 4 processor for only $699. I'm much, much more than business as usual.
Get great deals on Dell Business desktops, notebooks, and servers. Right now, double your memory on select Dell Business systems. And save up to $300 on select systems.
Small business technology. Easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell.
Tonight, if the Middle East can't find a middle ground, will it cost America the war? Special report with Britt Hume. Fair and balanced on Fox News Channel. They worked in the shadows, deep behind enemy lines, with no help, no weapons, and no way out. They risked everything and helped turn the tide. From World War II to the war on terrorism, they survived on raw courage and nerves of steel. It's the real story of America's unsung heroes. Join Oliver North for War Stories, Spies, a Fox News Channel special.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day, some housekeeping. Because of all the buzz surrounding my interview with Rosie O'Donnell, we'll run it again on Friday night, not Saturday, as I said yesterday. That's because on Saturday, we'll rebroadcast the first O'Reilly Factor special entitled In Defense of America. Then tomorrow evening on the Fox network, where the Simpsons live, the second O'Reilly Factor special called The Corruption of the American Child will be broadcast at 9 Eastern Time. I think it's one of the most controversial specials ever broadcast on network television. It's not suitable for kids under the age of 12. Got all that, I know. It's kind of ridiculous, a lot of stuff. Finally tonight, the male raucous as usual, Florence and John Meade, Ripley, Tennessee, O'Reilly. As non-Catholics, we were shocked and appalled when you made your unkind comment about the Pope. Being 82 years old does not make anyone feeble-minded. We know of one person under the age of 60 that appears to be just that. You owe the Pope an apology. First of all, no one said the Pope was feeble-minded, so you guys actually owe me an apology for the misquote. But that's okay. I did say the Pope is not at the top of his game, and that's true. Bill Myers, Hamilton, Ohio. Bill, I don't understand how you can support homosexuality but condemn pedophiles. If gays are born that way, so are pedophiles. Think about it. Mr. Myers, what consenting adults do in private does not concern me. That's between them and God. Pedophilia is a vicious crime against children and must be prosecuted aggressively, no excuses. Barbara Morin, Charlottesville, Virginia. Bill, the Catholic laity is looking for accountability, honesty, and integrity. The church's leadership has been woefully lacking. O.A. Schwartz, North Miami Beach, Florida. The Supreme Court is correct, allowing people who use or allow the use of drugs in public housing to be expelled. Don't the good tenants have a right to a drug-free environment for their kids? Steve Rummel, Miami. Hey, Bill, Governor Bush's daughter was busted on a drug charge. Should the Bush family be tossed out of public housing? About the group in Arlington, Texas, that's trying to get the restaurant Hooters thrown out of the neighborhood. Maggie Mae Bowley, Boston. Mr. O'Reilly, I was shocked by your cavalier attitude towards Hooters as you claim to care about children. Hooters is slang for big breasts. Need I say more? Marcella Towns in Washington, D.C. Bill, if you see nothing wrong with Hooters, here's an idea you might like. Why not open a restaurant named Peckers? It would feature a well-endowed woodpecker. That would frighten me, Marcella. Kathy and Larry Malcolm, Marlow, Oklahoma. We took our son to Hooters and it didn't corrupt him. Then again, he's 32 years old. Dawn Brockett, Manchester, New Hampshire. Arlington residents are worried about the Hooters girls. Aren't the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders right down the street? Good point, Dawn. I wish I had thought of it. Wayne Kelpin, Topeka, Kansas. Well. So Bobby Knight stood you up, O'Reilly. After viewing the factor and witnessing your arrogance, I don't see how you get any guess he would not lower himself to your level. Knight knows the program and made a commitment, Mr. Kelpin. You're either a man of your word or you're not. He is not. By the way, I hate to reinforce the arrogance cliche, but you can stuff it, Wayne, with all due respect, of course. And how about that website, www.foxnews.com/O'Reilly. Now, here's the most ridiculous item of the day. Last night I said, hey, you know, for Mother's and Father's Day, you might want to get a signed book. Don't worry about the ties, you know, and all of that. So what happens? All right. In the Factor store, they have ties. Little cute little ties with no spin on them and stuff like that. So they're calling up screaming, what are you talking about to my ties? You can't win in this world. Got the Factor gear. It's all new spring stuff and all of that. So you might want to check that out. We have the interview posted with the guy who is counseling some of these pedophiles. Hey, I told the guy I'd punch these people. I wouldn't counsel them. And we want to hear from you via email, O'Reilly@foxnews.com, O'Reilly@foxnews.com. Name and town. Keep it. If you wish to. Yeah, right.